Toffee cake brownies are just a delight. Preheat your oven to 350 or 180 degrees Celsius. In a large bowl, you're going to need 2 cups of flour, 300 grams. To that, you're going to add in a third of a cup of cocoa, 27 grams, 1 teaspoon of baking soda or 6 grams, and 1/2 teaspoon of salt or 2 grams. Now you can use baking soda in this recipe because you're using cocoa and buttermilk as a rising agent. If you don't have baking soda, you can substitute it for baking powder. It will slightly change the texture of the recipe, but not completely that you will notice it unless you had them side by side. To that, we're going to add in some sugar. We're going to add in 2 whopping cups of sugar or 400 grams. Now you can reduce it down to a cup and a half or 300 grams of sugar, but it's traditionally a very sweet cake. Whisk this all together until you no longer see any lumps. If you have a sifter, this would be a great time to use one to ensure that you don't have any lumps of cocoa. Next, in a large bowl, we're going to combine our wet ingredients. 2 large eggs, 100 grams. To that, we're going to add 3/4 cup of oil, 180 milliliters. You can use canola, vegetable, olive, or even melted butter. Coconut oil works well too. Just melt it down first. Then we're going to add in some buttermilk, 1.5 cups or 360 milliliters. If you don't have any buttermilk, I will give you a link below how to make your own buttermilk. It will make the brownie still work perfectly, and it's quite easy. Next, we're going to put in some vanilla, 1 teaspoon, 5 milliliters. Try to use the best quality vanilla you have, and if you don't have vanilla, you can skip it altogether. It's not going to impact the recipe too much. It's just a nice subtle flavor at the end. Mix this together until it's nice and homogeneous like so. Once you get that, you're going to add in your flour mixture and you're going to beat it until it's nice and smooth and you don't see any lumps. It should look like this. It's a very thin batter. You want to place this in a 9 by 13 or a 20 by 33 centimeter pan. The pan you want to grease the bottom or spray it with a non-stick cooking spray. Pour the batter into the pan and let it self-level. After you have it poured into the pan, if you like, you could give it a couple taps to pop out any of those air bubbles. It's not necessary. That's just a cosmetic thing. Bake this 24 to 30 minutes or until a toothpick inserted in the middle comes out clean. While this is baking, you're going to need to get your topping prepared. Now this comes down to modern convenience. Back in the day, you either had to make your own toffee or get these toffee bars like this one and bash them up until you got 2 cups worth of toffee to put on the top. But now you can go out and buy a package of toffee bits and have it all done for you. Sometimes there's something to be said about modern conveniences, and this is one of them. I don't enjoy making toffee. It's very messy and time consuming, and it just costs a lot more than it costs to buy the toffee bits. So this is where I say semi-homemade is always a good option. You're going to sprinkle this on top of the warm cake, fresh out of the oven, evenly, and then cover it with aluminum foil and let it sit until it's completely cool. Be careful when you're sprinkling on it to not touch the sides of the pan to avoid burning yourself. You don't even have to ask me how I know that this is a possibility because I have burned myself like 800 times in the kitchen. You have to be really careful when you're putting hot things on a hot pan. Once it's fully cooled, you're going to remove the aluminum foil. You may see some of the toffee stick to the top of the foil. That's okay. You can peel that off and eat it if you like. And let's just cut into this and see what it looks like. It's a very soft, moist, delicious cake with the crunchy topping. It's just really a lovely cake brownie combination. I hope you enjoyed this recipe. Here are your ingredients if you want to follow along. Thank you for visiting us at jacksonsjob.com, and as always, happy baking.